Hey, this is Notser, and we're in the Gadjah Mada, the Tier 7 Pan-Asia Destroyer. I just unlocked the Tier 8. You'll start seeing replays in that. But this particular game, I had to share it. It's a great example of my attempt to overcome poor team decision-making. And this is not unique to World of Warships. In fact, this is more unique to every single instance of interacting with anyone for any team-oriented activity. But I thought it was a good idea for anyone who gets discouraged. They feel like, I can't do anything. How do I find the fun, enjoy, success? I just want to talk through what I was thinking. And I could clearly see, crystal clear, that this was not going anywhere close to what I wanted from the very get-go. So initially, spawned on the southwest side. The closest objective to my spawn as a destroyer was B point. That was the only legitimate strategy, in my opinion. 3 destroyers per side. I was bound to run into one, and fortunately I didn't. But I planned accordingly as if I was going to. I positioned myself so I could make a quick getaway. I was facing towards my team spawn. Now you'll notice that I never ran into another enemy destroyer. There's still 2 unspotted and 1's dead. And I was trying to get a little cheeky with the enemy. Didn't want to be detected, of course, but set fires. And, of course, enemy Nicholas is on the approach. Now, it was a very bold strategy by the Nicholas to push forward through that particular gap. And I'm not going to pass this up. I used my smoke, which is the bread and butter of the Pan-Asians. It's honestly pretty insane. And we're just going to lay into them with my British 120s. And they do a ton of damage. There's no reason to want to switch ammo types because they do insane damage. Why risk when you don't have to? It's going to take the same amount of salvos to kill the guy as to just chill and take him out. But as you can tell, most of the enemy is headed towards... Oh, and here comes some torpedoes. It wouldn't be a instance without random torpedoes sent that clearly aren't going to hit the target, but maybe I'd sleep in. Maybe I wouldn't pay attention. So there's only 1 enemy destroyer left. If I could take that guy out, I could basically stay unspotted for the rest of the game, theoretically. And for now, I'm just trying to set fires on the battleships. These 2 battleships that got a little bit too close and they're running away. If I can set a fire on them, maybe it forces out damage control. If it forces out damage control, maybe a friendly could follow up and we could wear them down. The primary flank of the enemy, though, is on the northeast side. They're pushing forward. It's not looking good. And the last known position for the enemy destroyer was at C point, facing that same direction. So it is quite clear that my team is split. We don't have enough to overcome the enemy's forces in the northeast side. Yet we still have at least 3 ships, maybe even 4, headed directly towards the enemy. And I know, pretty much everyone watching this should know, when you bring 4 ships against 7, 8, 9, you're not going to win those odds. It's going to be not in your favor. And that's completely obvious. So right now we know we're going to have to overcome a deficit of at least 4 ships. Okay? Well, how can I do that? Well, we could get a capture point, force them to come into an area where my team, the less mistaken part of my team, is over by B point. They're clearly in a position where they could conceivably fire on 1 or 2 ships and have an advantage. So I'm going to head towards C point and look to try and develop that strategy. If I can capture the base, that's a bonus, and friendly sends torpedoes, just make sure I don't hit them. If I can't capture the base, that's fantastic. That's not my goal. My goal is to try and force the enemy to return back towards the friendlies that are over by B point. Maybe we can get a kill. But clearly the enemy team, they know they have every advantage on the northeast side. Even the destroyer is all the way on the northeast side. He's at the edge of the map. So I know 100% this is a free take. there is absolutely no way the enemy can come back and stop me from capturing this base, because the one target that could, he's incredibly out of position to do just that. So instead, capture the base, I'm going to fire my guns at the enemies as they're trying around this island area. And there's an Alba that's even closer. If I could set a fire on the Nelson, force him to put it out, maybe a teammate can follow up. That's incredibly important that you consider damage control, damage control, damage control. The Alba is going to round the island quicker. I don't trust the indicator. I think he's going to turn just really tight. So I send my torpedoes accordingly. That could be the incorrect strategy. And initially it looks like, oh man, he's going to overrun the torpedoes. They're not going to get there. And about at this point I was going, oh crap, he's really fast. I've got to get out of the detection range. Otherwise he's going to just detect me. And my AA is incidentally left on. I should turn it off and make that mistake. That is definitely a mistake by me. Unfortunately, the Alba is able to avoid the torpedoes that I sent, but we do set up on fire with our first salvo, and I'm just trying to run as close to the island as I can. Japanese cruisers have a really tough time rotating their guns, so if you want to make, or any Japanese for that matter, if you want to try and take advantage of the Japanese, catch them where their guns are facing away from you. You will be able to get at least a salvo, unless of course you're already a Japanese, and then it's going to be a little frustrating for both of you, but we're able to get significant damage on the target. And I'm just trying to escape. I use my smoke to block the only close target. The aircraft is detecting me, so I eventually stop, and we're just going to continue our onslaught on the Alba. My teammates captured A point. We had 4 bases, but we did lose 4 ships. And again, my teammates captured A point. Now, what do you think they should probably do? They should probably engage the lowest health target, the Alba or the York, work them down one by one. And that's what I would say. Of course, the enemy Alba sent his torpedoes. But the Alba only has 1 set per side, so we don't have to worry. Enemy Pensacola, he's a little close. I'm going to move away, hold my fire as I leave the smoke. And we run into the enemy destroyer, and the enemy destroyer is pretty low. This will be a pretty easy kill, honestly, and I'm not going to hold my fire. I'm going to kill him. There's no reason. If I get this guy out, I could conceivably, not that I'm going to be able to do that, because look at the situation we are in at this point. Only 2 enemy ships have died, and pretty much every ship that's died is because I contributed to it. So we take out the last enemy destroyer, and I'm going to drop off detection. I think that's a good idea. My team over by A point, you might say to yourself, we've got 3 bases. We just have to allow the enemy team to push into us and exploit that, right? Yes, that would be a great job for my team to do, but no! They want to continue running into the enemy. Either way, I've got to try my best to win this game. And first priority, I want to try and slow down the Bayern. I want to try and take out the Alba. When I send my torpedoes to the Bayern is definitely going to go for D point. The Alba and the Pensacola are absolutely headed for B point. Now, a friendly is chipping down the Alba, and that looks pretty good. But unfortunately, my team, they just kept running into the enemy. They didn't turn back. They didn't try and give distance. We're going to get a little bit of chip damage on the Bayern, but I'm definitely going to fire at the Alba whenever he shows up. I'm not going to fire until I see the Alba. Any second Alba? Yes, there you are. He's, of course, naked, so he's easier to detect. And hopefully this is the kill shot. It is indeed. And I'm just going to work on the 2 targets, trying to capture B point and D point. And again, another naked ship. I do have smoke. I have 1 more charge after this. And I'm going to sit and fire at both of them, setting fires to them, trying to stall out the game as much as possible until my torpedoes are back up. I really need to get torpedo hits on the enemy. It's really the only chance we have. I need the friendlies to get another kill, if possible. But I don't think that's going to occur. Now, we do set a fire on the enemy Bayern, and I want to set a fire on the enemy Pitskola. He does have sustained fire from something, and hopefully we can set another one. Friendly tries to torpedo. The Pensacola either sniffs it out or is just moving slowly, probably to manipulate the island to his advantage. And I'm over here going, okay, well, my torpedoes are almost back up. The enemy Bayern is over by D point. We are, of course, trying our best. It's always... It can be one of two ways. You could always go, it's a waste of my time, just get to the next game. Or you could see it as a chance to never give up and never surrender. I really would prefer, me personally, I play out a game as long as I feel like I have a chance. And I definitely feel like we have a chance, especially with the Pensacola being so low, and he's going to fire at me. I do a quick dodge. Whenever I see him pull the trigger, I just maneuver. Try and turn that rudder. I want to kill this guy too. The longer he is alive, obviously the more threat to my ship. And oh, look at what we've got here. We've got an Omaha. Now, I pop my smoke, and I want to try and kill the Bayern. But no one else is going to detect him. So he's only going to remain detected for a little bit of time, and then he'll drop off. And he has put out all dots on the target. And the Omaha takes a ton of damage, which is really good, but I should almost try and escape right now. And this is one mistake I made. I am doing so much damage to the Omaha. I'm trying to get him dead before, because he only got like basically one gun facing this way. I want to get him dead before he can show his side. And we're doing a great job. We're doing a great job. I feel like, yes, I'm going to kill this guy. I'm going to kill this guy. Unfortunately, the battleship assists, and he gets a big shot on me. If that battleship would not have done that, I think we killed the Omaha. If the battleship would have chosen to go on the other side of that island, I think we kill the Omaha. I'm able to escape. I probably should have, instead of backed up, just shooting full broadside, I should have worked my way towards an escape path. In that moment, still firing at the Omaha. We take out the Omaha. Bayern dies. We have an advantage. The enemy team has to press into us. We have torpedoes. I see how my team and myself could win that game with a little bit better strategy. But overall, I felt like the game was a very, very enjoyable experience. It's clear that we're not going to win this game. It's 1 versus 5. It should be 2 versus 4. With us having a capture advantage. But that's just the way it works out. You gotta learn from these mistakes and move on. And hopefully this is a good example of, you clearly know that your team's gonna lose a significant amount of ships that you will have to overcome. How can you do that? You want to try and have better objective control. You also want to try and take out targets that self-isolate. That destroyer, the Bayern, the Alba, these targets were a little aggressive because their team had a ship advantage, and in doing so, you could take advantage of that. I didn't have to risk my ship too much. The only real part of the game that I absolutely made a mistake, I didn't try to keep maneuvering back from the Alba, or from the Omaha. The friendly Fubuki's gonna die, but we saw how we could have won that game. If I was a better player, we absolutely would have. And how did we get there? Played the objective, gave ourselves an out if the enemy team indeed was there. The enemy team over-pursued to get to 3 or 4 kills, took advantage of that, and captured another objective. And that put a clock on the enemy to come back, and they haphazardly strolled into doom. And if I would have just played the Omaha a little bit better, probably would have won that game. I hope you enjoyed it either way. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.